one I'll get back later. Then we have, I know volume. Okay, volume test. I will just repeat again, like what I have mentioned in the chapter 2. Volume test is more to the huge volume of data. Okay, like just now when we said load actually, data also can be part of the load. Okay, when we said stress testing, data also can be part of the stress. But when we said volume testing, is only about data, nothing to do with other things. It means nothing to do with user number, devices number, transaction numbers. No. Okay, volume will be only about volume of data. And the same thing also, the more the data is growing bigger, the higher the volume will be, how the system actually able to perform. So if you see this volume test, stress test, load test, they are very close to each other, because we are still checking about the behavior and also the performance. Okay, then we have the one called performance test. Okay, so this one more to the response time. We want to see how fast the system actually able to perform the functionality. Okay, so this can be on any normal workload or on any additional workload. So here, just now we talk about the stability. We talk about where is the breaking point. We test on the capacity, all this. But when we say performance test, our concentration is all about the response time. How well, how fast, how delay the response happen. So normally we want to see how the system is performing to meet the performance criteria. We can also do the performance testing to compare two systems to find out which system perform better. Okay, and also we can use this performance test to measure which part actually perform uh, badly or very poorly. Okay, so normally our performance test is all about the performance of the system and also the response time. Okay, so please do not get confused with this four. So when you want to, let's assume for your final exam, for example, so in your test area, testing later, so you want to determine which test you want to conduct, because if you see all this, they are more to non-functional area. So which one you want to do, why you want to do, so you need to clearly understand the objective of each of this testing. Okay, then we have usability testing, which I already discussed. This is more to the user interface, what user can see, what user can be interacting. So we want to know how the look of the system's layout, the user interface, how the smoothness of the navigation, the flow of the system, all this is more to usability. Okay, then recovery also, I have talked about it, how fast and how well the system can be recovered by itself due to any issue, doesn't matter whatever issue, network, software, hardware. But our concern is, did the system able to recover by itself or not? Because if you see anywhere where the system is hang, the system is just like showing the error messages without changing anything for a very long time, it means the system did not able to recover by itself. It means it is waiting for human to go and fix it. Okay, so a good system must be coded the way where it's able to recover fast, recover, you know, so that it will not be affecting the availability of the system and the functionality of the system. So we are actually trying to verify the recovery procedure has been done correctly or properly has been performed or not. Okay. Then acceptance testing, we already discussed about the two different types of acceptance testing. When we said acceptance testing, it means we are referring to the user acceptance testing. Okay, so we are not doing any other acceptance testing here, but only user. Okay, so where the system actually being tested by the user, potential user or the client, okay, to make sure that the system is actually fulfilling their requirements, fulfilling their needs. Okay, so as what I have discussed in chapter 2, user acceptance testing, there is two different sub or two different level of acceptance testing. The first one is alpha, the second one is actually beta. Okay, so just to recall back, alpha testing will be conducted at the developer side. So normally the developers will be observing the users or the client, how they are actually do the testing, what are the issues, okay, and they will record all these issues or the problem being faced during the alpha testing. So when they record the problems, it means they actually able to still do the changes. Okay, they will still do the minor fixing or major fixing, whatever happened. Okay, so sometimes the actual end user or the client will be invited to the developer side to conduct the alpha testing, or sometimes the internal people, okay, the internal people of the software company or the software developer side can be pretending as the end user to do the testing. So normally any staff, internal staff, okay, except the one understand the requirement, the one part of the development who knows what is this system about, they will be not part of the testing. But those who are independent out of the project, okay, so they will be actually able to do the alpha testing and to give feedback so that the development team can do the changes before they will send the system for beta testing. So beta testing is also known as a field testing. Field here referring to the customer's actual environment. It means where the system is actually going to be working in the future. So that is what we call as a field. Okay, so here there is a no more pretending, nothing, but the actual end user, the client, will be the one conduct the beta testing. Okay, so this test will be conducted on the real working environment with the real working condition. So this is how the system will work. So this is where the system should be tested. Okay, so now the system will be tested by the actual end user. Okay, so normally here there is no observation will be done by the development team or nothing at all. Okay, so here beta test will be the second phase of the user acceptance testing. So by the time the system come to here, we hope there is no big issues anymore because the system has gone through the alpha testing and the feedback from the clients has been accepted, and we actually able to give a better system after the changes has been done. Okay, so this will be the two types of user acceptance testing. Okay. So the next one, wait on, there is one just now, right? Okay. So Before I will start with the black box testing technique, so I want to discuss this one first. Okay, so we have this one called experience based testing. Okay, so this experience based testing means something which we don't document, we don't have anything to refer to. Okay, we don't plan for this. Okay, so this experience based testing normally will be conducted by the software testers or software test analysts or technical test analysts who has been working for long, and they have the enough experience working on similar domain, or they have been having the knowledge where their experience can be helped in our testing. So when we said experience based, we actually don't follow any documentation. Okay, this is how we want to conduct the test, so this is the flow, this is the step. No, experience based, it means based on your knowledge, based on your experience, what you have been doing for all these many years. Okay, so this will be something preferred to be conducted by certain companies, okay, where before they go for something formal, okay, they can actually conduct this experience based testing. Okay, so this will be based on the tester's experience on the software testing and also the software development. It means they know that, okay, if this type of system, okay, which has been developed on this environment, which is going to work like this on this software, on this operating system, on this web browser. So based on their experience, they can conduct this experience based testing. So from this experience based testing, then we can actually improve the way we are going to test after that. Okay, so some examples under the experience based testing is error guessing. Okay, I think by seeing the name you can already know how the experienced tester can conduct this. So they, with the experience, okay, the tester able to guess what type of testing, what type of defect or what type of errors actually can be found in this type of testing, I said this type of system. So they can actually guess. So this is something not documented. Okay, there is no test case for this error guessing. So this is a test method which actually used to find the defect in the system based on their previous testing experience. So when it comes to online banking system, when it comes to online e-commerce system, so they have knowledge of working on different domain. So they actually able to be doing the error guessing based on their knowledge and also their experience. It means they can guess that, okay, where might be the developers do mistake, on which area, which part of the calculation, which code. So those kind of experience speak better, so they can actually guess the error. So this is not a formal documented. So normally when we prepare our test plan, remember, before we conduct the testing, we do the test planning activity. So we do the test plan document. So this error guessing, all this experience based testing will not be documented because it's not something formally done. Because when you say that, then your client might not be happy. Oh, you do something without a proper formal documentation, you don't have a proper tool, those kind of question can come up. But some experience actually speak better. Okay, so the second example is checklist based testing. So here the testing team or the tester will prepare a checklist. Okay, so this checklist actually can be prepared based on maybe previous system which has been developed. Okay, so this actually used by the experienced testers. Okay, so with their experience of what they have tested before, what are the type of defects they have identified, let's assume for this particular domain. So when come to online banking, so these are the issues we can have, these are the defect can happen, these functions can actually give problems. So based on that, they actually prepare a checklist. So the item which is listed on the checklist, they will follow the checklist to run and to do the testing. Okay, so this also part of the experience base. So the third one is actually exploratory test. So if you see just now, I skip one of the slide, is actually that exploratory test. So this exploratory test is actually part of the black box testing too. Okay, but it is not a formally done testing. Okay, so this exploratory test is normally something informally done, where testers decided by themselves to explore more on the system, and they want to identify something out of what is documented. Okay, so normally when we said whatever testing we decided to do, okay, like in our test plan, we already listed down. Okay, so we want to concentrate on functional testing, then we want to concentrate on load testing, on recovery testing. So we actually listed down what are the testing we want to conduct. But this exploratory test is actually not part of the documented test. So here exploring means the testers put their own effort to find out more about the software, the system, what the system can do, what it cannot do, where is the limitation of this system. So this is something will be done by the software testers by themselves. So it is not something listed as part of the testing activity to be conducted. So the testers explore themselves on the system, and then from there they identify something. So this is nothing to do with a documented testing. So based on their exploring, based on their knowledge, based on their experience, they actually explore the system, and then from there they might be identify something. Okay, so all this is actually not a formally requested testing. Okay, so the next one is the attack testing. So attack testing, you should know, attack means we are checking where is the hole in the system. Okay, we don't want the system able to be attacked by any unauthorized people. So normally when we say attack, it means we want to see how is the penetration towards the system. Because when unexpected people able to access, when they able to attack the data, able to hijack the data, they able to attack the network. So all this is more to the security aspect of the system. So this also being conducted based on the tester's experience to identify where is the weakness of the system. Like we call where is the hole in the system which can be used to attack the system later. So before someone else can do, so we will be testing with the experience, with the knowledge, software testers can actually do the uh, attacking first. Okay, so that they know how to secure the system more. Okay, So normally when we said experience-based testing, so the test cases which will be produced will be more on the tester's knowledge, tester's skill, experience, and also what they feel uh, towards the system. Because when you have experience, you don't need to study, you don't need to read a certain document for you to identify something. So that is what we do as an experience. So from what they actually identify based on their knowledge, based on their experience, then we will come up with a documented test cases. Okay, so this actually something which is not documented, something which is not formally listed under the test plan, something normally to be informed to be I mean to the client, because some clients they don't really understand how this informal way of testing can be conducted. Okay, so let's assume when our project or when our system actually has a lack of requirement or specification, or there is no proper documentation has been produced, or maybe we have a very limited knowledge towards the system, or due to time constraint, so we can actually prefer to use this experience based technique. Okay, so it is actually depend on the companies. Some companies they are okay to do that, some companies they are not. Okay, so that is about the introduction of black box, sorry, dynamic test, and then about the black box testing, and then the type of black box testing. And as a part of the black box testing, we also have this experience based testing. Okay, any question so far? Any question? Everyone okay? Can I? Okay. So the next part of this dynamic testing chapter, we will be discussing about black box testing technique. Okay. So if you check back the test plan uh, template, okay, which I will actually discuss tomorrow. So you will be conducting more to black box testing. Sorry, I mean you will conducting more to dynamic testing, because we have nothing to do with the documentation, or this is not a newly developing system, nothing, it's a completed system. So the only thing what we can do is we can test the system dynamically. So when we say dynamically, automatically we will go to the black box testing. And your assignment is only concentrating on functional testing, on error handling, and also UI functionality. Only this. Your scope is only this. So when we said functionality testing, it means we, like what we discussed just now, we are giving the input data, we want to see how the system produce the output. So when we said functionality, it can actually have the success part of the functionality and also the error handling of the functionality. So that is where you produce your positive test case and your negative test case. Okay. Then after that, we also involve with the UI functionality, because nowadays the system which being developed in the market, they don't always go like the user friendly level of the system is very high, because they don't want the user to be stressing themselves to be entering a lot of information input by themselves. So they have provided more of input how to say elements. Okay, So as part of this functionality testing, of course, we will also have UI functionalities. Okay, so this is your scope. So when we said we want to do the functionality testing, as what we see just now, we need to identify the functionality, and the second one is we need to determine the input data which we want to use. Okay, so when we don't have a proper number of input data, it will actually cost exhaustive testing. So this is where when we try to test all the possible values, because we can never complete to test every possible values, because it will be just taking a lot of time, it will be just taking a lot of resources, a lot of budget, and we will end up not able to complete the testing within the timeline. This is what will happen. Okay, so that's why we need to use this black box testing technique, which can help us to find the right range of the input data which we need. So we cannot test everything, and we cannot less test also. Just because, oh, this is too many of data, we cannot test. And then we cannot just end up testing less also. Because when we do the test which did not able to cover the proper scope, the proper range of data, then it means our system is open for defect. Because when you let the user to enter the input, you cannot control what they are going to enter. So that is the reason why our negative testing is very important. I mean, our negative test case is important for us to test with all the invalid possible data, because we want to see if this input data has been entered, what happened, how the system reacts. If the system able to detect the invalid data and prompt the error message or not, or if this input has been entered, is the system stop functioning, those kind of things. So we must know all this. So that's why when we do positive test case, we have only one. It means when everything is valid, I got the success result, only one. But when we are testing the negative test case, it means when we use the invalid data, we need to make sure that, okay, invalid 1, is it giving the error message? Invalid 2, is it giving the error message? We need to check them one by one. But since we might have a lot of data, we cannot test them all. So that's why this technique will help us to cover the right range of test input data, which can help us to test and to cover the scope. Okay, so this black box testing technique, we will discuss about equivalence partitioning, we will discuss boundary value analysis, and we also have logic based testing. Uh, sorry, logic based testing, which will be cause. Sorry, my U is not working on the keypad. Cause effect, cause effect graph. Yeah. Okay. Cause effect graph, and then followed by that we have decision table. This two is under the logic based testing. Okay, so we will cover this under the testing technique. And also we have another one called pairwise testing. So pairwise testing, I don't want to include it here, because I will just discuss that for the lecture. So it will not be as part of your assignment. will not be part of your midterm. It will not be part of your final exam. Okay, so normally these two, they work in a pair, and these two, which is under the logic base,